What if I told you that your entire life is determined by one thing, not your circumstances, not your past, not even your talents, but your mind? That the difference between a life of suffering and a life of peace is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. Think about it. Two people can go through the exact same situation. One breaks down in despair, while the other stays strong and grows. What's the difference? Their minds. Buddha once said, "Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts." The greatest war you will ever fight is not against the world. It is against the distractions, fears, and doubts inside your own mind. And if you do not control your mind, it will control you. Today, I will reveal the ancient Buddhist secrets to mental mastery, wisdom that has helped monks, warriors, and leaders achieve unshakable peace and focus. By the end of this, you will understand how to break free from suffering and unlock the true power of your mind. Are you ready? Close your eyes for a moment and think about your biggest struggle right now. Is it stress, anxiety, fear of failure, overthinking? Now, let me tell you a truth that might shock you. That problem is not real. Yes, it exists in your mind, but it has no power over you unless you allow it to. Think of your mind like a stormy ocean. When the waves are wild, you feel lost and powerless, but when the water is still, you can see clearly. Most people let their minds run wild. They get caught in anger, sadness, or fear without realizing that they can choose how to respond. Buddhism teaches us that suffering comes not from external problems, but from our attachment to those problems. Imagine this. Someone insults you. Most people react immediately. Anger rises, words are thrown, and regret follows. A mindful person pauses. They recognize the emotion, observe it, and let it pass without reacting. Which person do you want to be? The one controlled by emotions or the one who controls them? Buddha discovered a powerful truth. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. If you allow your mind to be filled with negativity, distraction, and self-doubt, you will live a life of suffering. But if you train your mind to be calm, focused, and fearless, nothing can shake you. Here are 3 powerful Buddhist teachings to start controlling your mind today. 1. The 2 arrows of suffering. Buddha once said, "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional." Imagine you get hit by an arrow. That pain is real, but then you start obsessing over it. Why did this happen? This is unfair. I can't handle this. And now, you've shot yourself with a second arrow. The first arrow is life. Problems will come. But the second arrow is your reaction, and that is completely in your control. 2. The monkey mind versus the still mind. Your mind is like a wild monkey, jumping from one thought to another, constantly restless and distracted. But through meditation and mindfulness, you can train it to be still, like a lake, clear, focused, and powerful. When your mind is still, you can see reality as it truly is. You stop reacting emotionally, and instead, you respond with wisdom. 3rd detachment, the path to ultimate freedom. The reason we suffer is because we cling to things, people, possessions, expectations. But Buddhism teaches everything is temporary. If you learn to let go, nothing can control you. You become free. Free from stress, free from fear, free from anything that disturbs your peace. This isn't just philosophy. It's been proven by real-life Buddhist masters throughout history. Bodhidharma, the unshakable monk. Bodhidharma, the founder of Zen Buddhism, once meditated in a cave for 9 years without moving. His mind became so powerful that no distraction, no pain, and no temptation could shake him. One day, a warrior came to him and asked, "Teach me Zen." Bodhidharma ignored him. The warrior waited for hours, but still, Bodhidharma did not speak. Finally, to prove his determination, the warrior cut off his own arm. Only then did Bodhidharma turn and say, "Now you are ready." This story teaches us that discipline and commitment are the keys to mastering the mind. Most people give up too easily, but if you stay committed, your mind will become unstoppable. Thich Quang Duc, the monk who felt no pain. In 1963, the Vietnamese monk Thich Quang Duc set himself on fire in protest against oppression. But here's the most shocking part. He did not move. He did not scream. He did not flinch. His mind was so deeply controlled that even the pain of fire could not shake his inner peace. Now, imagine this. If he could remain calm in the middle of fire, what's stopping you from controlling your emotions in everyday life? Now that you understand the power of the mind, how can you start training yours? 1. Practice daily stillness. Even 5 minutes helps. Every day, sit in silence. Focus on your breathing. Observe your thoughts, but don't react to them. This is the foundation of mental strength. 2. Learn to pause before reacting. When something upsets you, don't react immediately. Take a deep breath and observe your emotions. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? 3rd, let go of what you can't control. Most stress comes from clinging to things we can't change. Instead, accept them. Flow with life like a river. This is the path to true peace. 4th, train focus, one task at a time. Monks practice one-pointed focus, doing only one thing at a time. When you work, work. When you eat, eat. This will transform your productivity. 5. Surround yourself with wisdom. Read Buddhist teachings. Listen to wise masters. What you feed your mind shapes your life. For thousands of years, Buddhist monks have practiced meditation, mindfulness, and detachment, claiming that these practices lead to a peaceful, powerful mind. But now, modern science is proving that these ancient teachings actually rewire the brain for focus, happiness, and mental clarity. First, meditation changes brain structure. Neuroscientists have discovered that meditation physically changes the brain. Studies from Harvard show that 8 weeks of meditation can increase gray matter in areas responsible for emotional regulation and decision-making, reduce the size of the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and stress, improve focus and attention span. Monks trained in meditation can concentrate for hours without distraction. This proves what Buddhist masters have said for centuries. A trained mind is a powerful mind. 2. The mind creates reality, the neuroscience of thoughts. Buddhism teaches that what you think, you become. Now, science confirms this through neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reshape itself based on thoughts and experiences. If you constantly think about problems, your brain becomes wired for stress and negativity. If you train your mind to focus on calmness and solutions, your brain rewires itself for peace and success. Monks are living proof of this. Brain scans show that long-term meditators experience less anxiety, more happiness, and greater self-control than the average person. 3. How letting go reduces suffering. One of the most profound Buddhist teachings is detachment, letting go of expectations, desires, and things you cannot control. This isn't about avoiding life, but about freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering. A study at Yale University found that people who practice mindfulness and non-attachment experience less emotional pain, more resilience to stress, greater life satisfaction. The lesson? The moment you stop clinging, worrying, and fearing the future, you become free. Milarepa, from dark magic to enlightenment. Milarepa was once filled with hatred and revenge. He learned dark magic to destroy his enemies, but after realizing his karma, he sought redemption through intense meditation. For years, he meditated in complete isolation, sometimes without food, sometimes in harsh cold. But through sheer mental discipline, he transformed himself into one of the greatest Buddhist sages in history. His story teaches us, your past does not define you. Your choices today do. True transformation comes from inner discipline, not external change. Ajahn Mun, the monk who could read minds. Ajahn Mun, a legendary Thai forest monk, had such deep mental control that people claimed he could read minds and predict the future. But what was his secret? Stillness, absolute stillness. For years he lived in the wilderness, meditating for hours daily. He mastered his thoughts so completely that his mind became like a mirror, reflecting reality without distortion. This teaches us that deep focus and mental silence unlock abilities beyond imagination. Buddhist warriors, mind over fear. The Shaolin monks are known for their superhuman strength, agility, and discipline. But their greatest weapon is not their body, it's their mind. Through years of training, they eliminate fear, because fear is just an illusion of the mind. Train extreme focus, allowing them to break bricks, withstand pain, and move faster than the eye can see. Develop unshakable mental strength so that no challenge, no hardship can defeat them. If monks can train their minds to withstand pain, fight fearlessly, and control their emotions, what's stopping you from training yours? The Fireproof Monk, Teach Kwang Juk's ultimate test of mind control. In 1963, the world watched in shock as a Buddhist monk, Teach Kwang Juk, sat calmly in the middle of a street, poured gasoline over himself, and set himself on fire. But the most incredible part? He did not move. He did not scream. He did not show pain. People watching could not believe it. How could a human being withstand the most excruciating pain possible without reacting? This was the ultimate proof of mental control. His mind was stronger than his body's pain. The Flying Monk, Levitation through Mind Mastery. Ancient Buddhist texts tell of monks who could levitate, rising above the ground through deep meditation. While skeptics dismiss these stories, modern science shows that the mind can control bodily functions, including heart rate, pain perception, and even temperature regulation. Certain monks can generate body heat in freezing conditions through deep focus, a technique known as tummo breathing. While levitation remains a mystery, what's undeniable is that a trained mind can defy normal human limitations. The 1,000-year-old monk who still exists today. In 2015, scientists examined the body of a Buddhist monk found in Mongolia, and what they discovered was shocking. His body was perfectly preserved, even though he had been dead for 200 years. He was still in the lotus meditation position, as if still alive. Some believe he is in a deep meditative state, beyond death itself. Whether this is a miracle or advanced science, one thing is clear: the human mind is far more powerful than we understand. 1. The power of the present moment. Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Most suffering comes from regret over the past, anxiety about the future. But right now, in this moment, everything is fine. When you focus completely on the present, stress disappears. Second, training focus. Like a monk, Buddhist monks train their focus through extreme discipline. Eating in silence, focusing only on the food, walking slowly, being fully aware of each step, meditating for hours, observing thoughts without attachment. Try this. Next time you eat, just eat. No phone, no TV, no distractions. You will notice a deep sense of peace and awareness. 3. Overcoming fear. The Buddhist warrior mindset. Fear is an illusion. It exists only in the mind. The Buddha taught, the whole secret of existence is to have no fear. To train yourself to be fearless. Expose yourself to fear little by little. Speak up. Take small risks. Observe fear without reacting. When afraid, pause and breathe deeply. Let go of attachment. Most fear comes from trying to control things we can't. By now, you understand that. Your thoughts shape your reality. Your mind is your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. With discipline, you can train yourself to be unshakable. Final daily practices to achieve mental freedom. 1. Meditate for 10 minutes daily. Train your focus and calmness. 2. Observe emotions, don't react. When anger or fear arises, just watch it. 3. Detach from external events. Accept that you cannot control everything. 4. Be fully present. The more you focus on the now, the more peaceful you become. 5. Surround yourself with wisdom. Read, listen, and learn from Buddhist teachings daily. One of the greatest sources of suffering is attachment. To people, to material things, to status, and even to our own expectations. Buddhism teaches that the more we cling, the more we suffer. Imagine holding a rope that's burning your hand. The tighter you grip, the more pain you feel. Letting go is the only way to free yourself. Why attachment causes suffering. Attachment to people. We fear losing loved ones, but nothing is permanent. True love is not possession, but appreciation without clinging. Attachment to material things. Possessions do not bring lasting happiness. Once you let go of the need for more, you find contentment. Attachment to expectations. When life doesn't go as planned, we suffer. But if we detach, we flow with life instead of resisting it. The Buddhist way to let go and find freedom. 1. Accept impermanence. Everything changes. The more you accept this, the less you suffer. 2. Practice gratitude without attachment. Enjoy things while they last, but don't depend on them for happiness. 3. Meditate on death. This may sound dark, but it helps you appreciate life and let go of unnecessary worries. 4. Shift from mine to ours. See everything as temporary gifts, not possessions. When you master non-attachment, you become free. Nothing can disturb your peace because you have no fear of loss. Many people chase happiness through success, relationships, and possessions. But Buddhism reveals a radical truth. Happiness is not something you get. It is something you become. 1. The Four Noble Truths, the roadmap to a suffering-free life. Buddha's first teaching after enlightenment was the Four Noble Truths, a guide to ending suffering. 1. Suffering exists. Life includes pain, loss, and disappointment. 2. Suffering comes from craving and attachment. We suffer because we want things to be different than they are. 3. There is an end to suffering. If we let go of craving, we can find peace. 4. The Eightfold Path leads to freedom. By following wisdom, meditation, and ethical living, we reach enlightenment. 2. The happiness formula: want less, appreciate more. Buddha taught that true happiness is not getting what you want, but wanting what you have. Try this. For one day, appreciate everything as if you were seeing it for the first time. Suddenly, simple things like breathing, the sky, or a smile bring deep joy. 3. The 3 poisons that destroy happiness. Buddhism warns us about 3 mental states that cause misery. 1. Greed, wanting more, never satisfied. 2. Hatred, holding grudges, resentment, anger. 3. Ignorance, not seeing things as they are, living in illusions. By removing these poisons through mindfulness and wisdom, happiness naturally arises. The story of the angry man and the Buddha. One day, a man came to the Buddha and insulted him viciously, but the Buddha remained silent. He did not react. Finally, the man demanded, "Why are you not angry?" Buddha smiled and asked, "If someone offers you a gift, but you refuse to accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The man replied, "To the giver." Buddha said, "Exactly. I do not accept your anger, so it remains yours." Lesson: do not take other people's negativity personally. When you refuse to react, you remain in control of your own mind. On the story of the empty boat. A monk was meditating by a river when a boat crashed into him. He turned around, ready to shout at the person who disturbed his peace, until he saw that the boat was empty. At that moment, he realized all anger comes from the illusion that someone is attacking us. But most of the time, people are just empty boats, moving through life, unaware of the harm they cause. Lesson: don't take things personally. Most people's actions are not about you. Let go, and you will be free. Step 1. Strengthen your focus with meditation. Every day, sit for 10 minutes and focus on your breath. When thoughts arise, observe them, but don't react. Over time, your mind will become still and powerful. Step 2. Train yourself to pause before reacting. Next time you feel angry, anxious, or afraid, pause for 5 seconds before reacting. This simple habit will make you less reactive and more in control. Step 3. Rewire your mindset with gratitude. Every morning, list 3 things you are grateful for. This rewires your brain to focus on what's good rather than what's missing. Step 4. Challenge your fears. If you fear public speaking, speak up in small groups. If you fear failure, take small risks every day. Fear shrinks when you face it. Step 5. Let go of what you can't control. Ask yourself daily, is this in my control? If not, let it go. This is the secret to true inner peace. 1. The Shaolin discipline. Strength through mind training. Shaolin monks are famous for their superhuman endurance and mental toughness. But their secret isn't just physical training, it's mind control. They meditate for hours daily to master their thoughts. They train in extreme conditions to develop unshakable focus. They see pain as an illusion of the mind, allowing them to perform incredible feats. 2. The Samurai and Zen Buddhism. Samurai warriors practiced Zen Buddhism to remain fearless in battle. They followed 3 key principles. 1. Accept death before it comes. By meditating on death, they removed fear. 2. Total present moment awareness. They focused 100% on each action, eliminating distractions. 3. Non-attachment to outcome. They fought with full effort, but accepted any result without attachment. Imagine applying these principles in your own life. How unstoppable would you become? 1. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Bad things happen, but how you react is in your control. Choose peace over suffering. 2. The mind is everything. Train it or be controlled by it. An untrained mind is chaotic. A trained mind is powerful. Discipline your thoughts, and you discipline your life. 3. True strength comes from letting go, not holding on. Clinging causes pain. When you release expectations and fears, you become free. 4. Your greatest enemy is your own undisciplined mind. Master your mind, and you master everything else. We are now moving into the deepest and most powerful teachings on mental control, fearlessness, and true wisdom. This section will take you beyond basic mindfulness into advanced Buddhist mental training techniques. Before Buddha attained enlightenment, he faced one final test, a battle not against an external enemy, but against his own mind, the night of enlightenment. Siddhartha Gautama, after years of searching, sat beneath the Bodhi tree vowing, "I shall not move from this spot until I have found the truth." At that moment, Mara, the demon of illusion, appeared. But Mara was not a physical being. He represented the inner struggles of every human mind. Doubt. You are wasting your time. Who do you think you are? Fear. What if you fail? What if you suffer? Desire. Mara sent beautiful illusions, trying to distract him with pleasure. Anger. Mara summoned terrifying warriors to make Buddha lose his peace. But Siddhartha remained completely still. He did not react. He simply observed Mara's illusions. Finally, Mara gave one last challenge. Who will bear witness that you have the right to be enlightened? Buddha simply touched the earth, and the earth itself answered, I bear witness. At that moment, Mara vanished. The illusions disappeared. The Buddha had won. What this story teaches us: doubt, fear, and temptation are just illusions of the mind. Observe them, and they will fade. True mastery is not about fighting your mind, but seeing through its tricks. When you stop reacting to negative thoughts, they lose their power over you. The question is, are you ready to defeat your own Mara? Some Buddhist monks have mastered their minds so completely that they seem almost superhuman. But their secret isn't magic, it's discipline. The Tibetan monks, masters of mind control. Tibetan monks can meditate for days without moving, control their body temperature in freezing weather, slow their heartbeat at will. What's their daily routine? 1. Wake up at 4 a.m. No distractions, just deep meditation. 2. Hours of silent practice, training the mind through stillness. 3. Physical training, to keep the body strong, because a weak body leads to a weak mind. 4. Eating mindfully, no distractions, just full awareness of every bite. The 5th evening reflection. Before sleeping, they review their thoughts and emotions, ensuring nothing disturbs their peace. The Shaolin monks, the balance of mind and body. Shaolin monks are famous for their superhuman abilities, like breaking bricks, doing one-finger push-ups, and even standing on spears. But their real power comes from mental control. Their daily training includes meditation before combat, because true power comes from stillness. Pain endurance training, teaching the mind to stay calm even in suffering. Breath control, controlling energy through deep breathing exercises. The lesson: discipline is the foundation of an unshakable mind. If you controlled your daily habits like this, imagine what you could achieve. Zen Buddhism teaches that the mind is like a stormy lake. If you try to force it into stillness, it will resist. But if you stop reacting and let go, it naturally becomes clear. 1. The art of non-reaction. 1. Zen master taught his students by suddenly shouting at them. Some flinched, some became angry, some laughed. Then he asked, "Why did you react differently?" It was the same sound. Lesson: events don't disturb you. Your reaction does. Train yourself to observe, not react. 2. The power of doing nothing. Zen monks sometimes practice sitting and doing nothing. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest mental exercises. Try this. Sit for 30 minutes. Do nothing. No phone, no distractions. Just observe your thoughts without judgment. At first, your mind will fight back. But if you persist, you will feel a deep sense of peace and power. 3. The secret of emptying your cup. A student once asked a Zen master to teach him. The master poured tea into his cup, but kept pouring until it overflowed. "Why are you still pouring? The cup is full," the student shouted. The master replied, "Like this cup, your mind is too full of opinions. Empty it, and I can teach you." Lesson: let go of your beliefs and assumptions. Only an open mind can grow. Fear controls most people, but Buddhists train themselves to be fearless. 1. Accept death, and you will fear nothing. Samurai warriors followed Zen Buddhism because it taught them not to fear death. Every morning, they meditated on dying. By accepting that life is temporary, they removed all fear. Try this. Imagine today is your last day. What would you do differently? Live with that mindset, fully, fearlessly, without hesitation. 2. The confidence of no self. Buddhism teaches that the ego is an illusion. You are not your name, your past, or your status. You are simply awareness, experiencing life. If you let go of the ego, fear disappears because you don't fear failure. There is no self to fail. You don't fear rejection. You realize others' opinions don't define you. You don't fear change, because nothing was ever yours to begin with. True confidence comes from realizing you have nothing to lose. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment is not a mystical state. It's simply seeing reality clearly, without illusions. A Zen master once said, "Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water." Nothing changes, except your perception. How to reach this state? 1. Observe your mind without reacting. Every fear, anger, and desire is just a passing cloud. 2. Detach from expectations. Let go of wanting things to be different, and suffering disappears. 3. Live fully in the present. The past is gone. The future is not real. Only now exists. When you fully master this, you will be free. This is the final and most powerful section of our journey. We have explored Buddhist wisdom, mental control, fearlessness, and enlightenment. But now we go even deeper into mastery, transformation, and living like a modern-day warrior of the mind. Bodhidharma was an Indian Buddhist monk who traveled to China in the 5th century. He became one of the most legendary figures in Buddhism because of his teachings on mental strength, meditation, and martial arts. Bodhidharma's journey to China. When Bodhidharma arrived at the Shaolin Temple, he saw that the monks were physically weak and mentally unfocused. They spent their days only meditating, but their bodies were not strong enough to endure the harsh discipline. So Bodhidharma introduced a revolutionary practice, a combination of 1. Meditation for mental control, martial arts for physical discipline, 3. Breath work for energy and endurance. This combination became Shaolin Kung Fu, which later influenced karate, judo, and even samurai training. Bodhidharma's most powerful lesson. One disciple once asked Bodhidharma, "How do I reach enlightenment?" Bodhidharma replied, "Empty your mind and face yourself." The disciple asked, "How do I empty my mind?" Bodhidharma answered, "You must sit and observe your thoughts without attachment. When you stop identifying with them, they will disappear." This was the essence of Bodhidharma's teaching. The mind is only powerful, though, when you believe its illusions. Let go, and you are free. Lesson: train both your mind and body. For a weak body leads to a weak mind, and a weak mind leads to suffering. First, Nagarjuna, the master of emptiness. Nagarjuna was one of the most profound Buddhist philosophers. He taught that everything is empty. Nothing has a fixed existence. Your problems are illusions. They exist only because you believe in them. By detaching from thoughts, suffering disappears. His lesson: whenever you feel anxious, remind yourself, this is just a passing thought, not a reality. Second Milarepa, the sage who conquered his mind. Milarepa was a Tibetan yogi who spent years in a cave practicing extreme meditation. He transformed from a murderer into one of the most enlightened beings. His greatest teaching? The mind is a wild horse. Control it, or it will control you. He used one powerful technique. Whenever negative emotions arose, he would welcome them instead of fighting them. By accepting fear, anger, or doubt, he took away their power. Eventually, the emotions dissolved on their own. Third Dogen, the father of Zen Buddhism. Dogen was a Japanese monk who spread Zen Buddhism. He taught, sit and do nothing. The truth will reveal itself. All suffering comes from attachment to the past or future. The only true reality is this moment. Focus on it fully. His practice, every action, from drinking tea to walking, should be done with 100% mindfulness. This trains the mind to be calm and clear. Buddhist monks have superhuman focus, but they train it through specific techniques. 1. The candle flame exercise. Sit in a dark room with a lit candle. Stare at the flame without blinking for as long as possible. If your mind drifts, bring it back. This sharpens your focus like a laser. 2. The one thing rule. Pick one task and give it full attention. No multitasking. Whether eating, walking, or working, do it as if it's the most important thing in the world. This rewires your brain for deep focus. 3. The 5-second rule for distraction. Whenever your mind wanders, count down from 5 to 1. Then bring your attention back to the present moment. This prevents distractions from controlling you. If you practice these, your mind will become unbreakable. 1. The mirror technique. Look at yourself in the mirror. Say, I am not my thoughts. I am the observer. Watch how this simple phrase changes your mindset. 2. The let go exercise. Write down everything that's stressing you. Next to each problem, ask, can I control this? If yes, take action. If not, let it go. Burn the paper if safe, or tear it up, symbolizing release. 3. The fear destruction meditation. Close your eyes and picture your biggest fear. Imagine becoming one with it, feeling its energy. Keep doing this until the fear loses its power. This destroys fear at its root. First, wake up before the world. Set your alarm 1 hour earlier. Use this time for meditation, journaling, or exercise. This makes you mentally stronger than 99% of people. Second, cut out useless distractions. No social media in the morning. No reacting, only acting. Focus only on what moves you forward. Third, face 1. Fear every day. Afraid of speaking up? Say something. Afraid of failure? Take a risk. The more you face fear, the more fearless you become. 4. Live by the samurai code. Accept death. Every day, remind yourself, life is temporary. Never complain. Focus only on action. Stay calm under pressure. Control your mind, and you control your fate. 5. Always choose growth over comfort. If something is hard, do it anyway. If it scares you, step toward it. This is the path of the true warrior. 1. You are not your thoughts. Observe them. Don't obey them. 2. Fear is an illusion. Face it, and it disappears. 3. Suffering comes from attachment. Let go, and you will be free. 4. Master the mind, and you master everything. This is the last step of the journey. Now, you must decide. Will you continue living controlled by your emotions, fears and distractions, or will you take action and train your mind like a warrior? Your final challenge. 1. For the next 7 days, meditate for 10 minutes daily. 2. Practice non-reaction. When someone triggers you, pause before responding. 3. Face one small fear every day. If you do this, your mind will change forever. Are you ready to step into your power